Welcome back to the channel. My name is A-Bomb. Something very different today, not even football related. I couldn't decide which channel to put this on because this is a football channel, Football Manager. The other channel is a gaming channel, so this I didn't really have anything for this. I couldn't really bring myself to set up a third channel for this, but I'm going to talk about some wrestling today. What a week of wrestling it's been since Monday. We've had a season premiere of Raw, which had its good parts and had its bad parts as well, like Bobby and Tyrone Lashley making out with Lana. Didn't need to see that, but had some good moments as well. Of course, NXT moving fully 2 hours to USA on the network. It's like a day after, I think, so that's been watched. 3 title matches there. None of them changed hands, but still a great 2 hours of wrestling. Haven't watched AEW Dynamite yet, so I need to get around to doing that, but apparently that was really good. Thursday is now the new home of NXT UK on the network, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. And then, of course, Friday Night SmackDown had its premiere on Fox. 2 hours of that. We've got a new WWE champion, Brock Lesnar pinning Coffey in about 9-10 seconds. And then it looks like we're getting Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez in Saudi Arabia. Tyson Fury showed up and jumped the barricade. Mad night of wrestling on SmackDown. But I'm talking about NXT UK because Friday and Saturday night I was at the tapings at Brentwood, and that's going to be going on the network over the next few weeks. Probably about 4 shows taped, I think maybe 5, I'm not quite sure. There were a bunch of matches, and I'm going to run them down for you now. There will be spoilers, of course. I'm going to run down the results and all that. So if you want to watch, then stick around. So the first thing we get is Andy Shepherd, the announcer, announcing the commentary team, and there is a bit of a change up because Vic Joseph is now, of course, announcing Monday Night Raw. We've got Tom Phillips on NXT UK, who has been on SmackDown for a little bit. I think he's been doing 205 Live, and Nigel McGuinness is here as well, so he is still going strong with NXT UK. My voice is a bit bad. I was shouting and chanting, and it's Sunday afternoon now, so my voice is still a bit croaky. Hopefully it's not too bad. We start things off with a dark match as A-Kid takes on Joseph Connors. A-Kid is a member of, or was a member of, Team White Wolf. I'm not sure if they're still going. I'm not overly familiar with their work. They've been in Defiant Wrestling a few times before they closed their doors, and I think they did have a match a while ago on NXT UK against Gallus. But A-Kid is out here going solo, and he takes on Joseph Connors and wins the match with a roll-up. I think this was a dark match, so I don't think this will be on TV, but A-Kid picks up the win. Up next, Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster are out there. Of course, the NXT UK Tag Team Champions, winning the championships in their home country of Wales at the last NXT UK takeover, beating the Grizzled Young Veterans, the champions, and also Gallus in that triple threat tag team match. They're the champions, and they come out to address their fans because they haven't really had the opportunity yet to properly thank their fans. So that's what they were out there for. But they were interrupted by Mark Coffey and Wolfgang of Gallus, and they say they shouldn't have turned up to Cardiff, they shouldn't be champions, and they set up a match for later on in the night, which will presumably go out the next week on the network. Out next are Wild Boar Mike Hitchman and Primate Jay Melrose. They are known as The Hunt, and they take on the team of Pretty Deadly, which is Sam Stoker and Lewis Howley, who I believe, well, I might be thinking of someone else, but I think he was on First Dates on Channel 4 as well. So he is out. They're taking on the Hunt, and Hunt do win the match. It's a good little match. Both teams getting into my fence, and they win with a double headbutt from the top rope. Both Boar and Primate landing headbutts. I don't know which one it was on, but Pretty Deadly lost. They're celebrating in the ring. Like, I say celebrating, I'm not quite sure how they celebrate. They like slap each other or something, I don't know. But they're interrupted by Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel of Imperium, and they run down the Hunt, saying the animals don't belong in the ring is sacred, all that nonsense they talk about. And they are attacked by the Hunt. The Hunt take homage to what they're saying, but Imperium do get the other upper hand as Alexander Wolf comes out to give them the numbers advantage, and they run them, I think, into the steps. I was front row. I was opposite the stage, so it was on the other side of the ring. I couldn't really see what was happening, but I think they ran them both into the ring steps for another post. So they were down, Imperium stood tall, and that is a match that will happen a little bit later on, and I'll go through that shortly. It's just non-stop wrestling in this show, which is what I love. There's no backstage segments because they're just taping matches, and the backstage stuff is obviously all sort of taped at another time, which is really good because it's just non-stop wrestling for us. Out next is Piper Niven, also known as Viper in various other promotions like ICW, and when she was at What Culture Pro Wrestling / Defiant as well. She is taking on the alpha female Jazzy Gabert, who's accompanied by Jinny Couture, she's known as well. Two much larger women, very, very strong women in this one. Piper does have the match under control, but the match ends when Jinny gets up on the apron to cause a distraction, but then Rhea Ripley comes out and also causes a distraction for Jazzy Gabert, and Piper takes advantage of that and pins Jazzy Gabert, who I don't know if she's won a match yet. She doesn't look a very strong monster heel at the moment, especially being Jinny's heavy, if you like, bodyguard. It hasn't really worked out for them. There's a bit of an exchange between Rhea Ripley and Piper Niven. Of course, they've had some matches in the past. They were involved in that Battle Royal at the Download Festival, and there's a bit of a stare down between them, but then a mutual sign of respect, like, you know, what they know what each other can do, so there's a bit of respect there now after the matches they've had in recent weeks. Up next, it is Jack Stars taking on Jordan Devlin. The Irish Ace is out, and he's taking on Stars here. Stars, I guess, is a kind of a jobber at this stage in NXT UK. He got in some offense, you know what, he looked good, but Jordan Devlin ultimately picked up the win, getting his catch suplex in, and Devlin wins. He's bigging himself up after the match, but he's cut off by the bomber Dave Mastiff from the Black Country, 320 something pounds, huge beast. And Mastiff says he's out for a match now, but he can always make time in his schedule for Jordan Devlin. Mastiff is taking on Kenny Williams, the Luckian, and it is Mastiff that picks up the win here. Kenny Williams tweaks his knee in this match. I did think at first that he was like faking a knee injury, much like Noam Dar's been doing. I thought that Williams was trying to do that to gain an upper hand and maybe a heel turn in a team there, but I don't think that's what happened. I think he legitimately might have tweaked his knee. Mastiff picks up the win with a cannonball in the corner. And then the next match is, I think, going to be the main event for the first show, and it is Trent Seven versus Noam Dar in a rematch from a couple of weeks ago on NXT UK. I think it went out last week. Trent Seven lost by disqualification. Noam Dar grabbing hold of the British Strong Style towel that Trent Seven takes with him to the ring, and he was sort of wiping sweat with it. He put it down his ring gear, like between his legs. And Trent Seven didn't like that, and he got himself disqualified. So this is a rematch for him a couple of weeks ago. Best match of the night, of the first night, by far. Fantastic match between Seven and Dar. Two very, very good wrestlers. Seven was paying homage to his British Strong Style teammates in this match, hitting the bop and bang combination that Tyler Bate does, you know, when he goes to hit the right and he hits him with the left instead, so he hits that. Also some joint manipulation. Of course, we see Pete Dunne do that in all of his matches. So he's paying tribute to his British Strong Style comrades. Noam Dar's also trying to mock British Strong Style. He went for a Tyler Driver at one point, I think, and tried to finish the match with Trent Seven's own finisher, that 7-star lariat, that Rainmaker type move. But he doesn't hit it, and then Trent Seven hits the real thing. He hits the 7-star lariat, and Trent Seven picks up the win, and he manages to reclaim his British Strong Style towel. It's got writing all over it, like RIP British Strong Style, and it's got Noam Dar's Supernova nickname on it. But Trent Seven has managed to regain his towel. So that, I think, will be the end of the first show. There was a good 4 or 5 matches in there, I think, so that will probably be the end of the first show. But they then kick things off with Zaya Brookside, and she's taking on Nina Samuels. The Nina Samuels show has arrived. She's like a dramatist, I guess. I'm not quite sure what you really say about it, but these two have a good little match. Nina's getting very worked up about the Nino chants at ringside. We're chanting Nino like sirens, like Nino, Nino, and she's getting very sort of angry and pissed off about those. I must say, some of the chants and some of the fans at this show are incredible. There was a guy front row on the hard camera dressed as Henry VIII, and he just stole the show. I mean, credit to all the wrestlers for doing so well, all the superstars, but this guy, as far as the fans go, just absolutely stole the show. Zaya Brookside picks up the win here with the roll-up and picks up the win. Nina Samuels throws a wobbly in the ring. She's banging the mat and she's kicking and screaming. It takes the referee like a couple of minutes to actually get her out of the ring, but Zaya Brookside picks up the win, which is good to see. Brookside easily the smallest competitor in the women's division, but she still packs a punch. Next match, it's James Drake and Zach Gibson, the grizzled young veterans, the former NXT UK Tag Team Champions, and they're taking on the makeshift team of Oliver Carter, the Ghanaian, and Ashton Smith. First time we're seeing these two pair up. Carter's only been in singles matches so far since his debut, and he is 0-2. And Smith, I think, may have picked up 1 or 2 wins here and there, maybe in dark matches, but I don't think he's won on TV. Zach Gibson is straight up one of the best heat magnets, not just in NXT UK, but maybe in the whole of WWE. He is an absolute heat magnet, just because he's from Liverpool. Like, he gets like Corbin heat. It's ridiculous. But he's so good at working the crowd. Like, the Liverpool accent comes out, he's shouting, and the fans are going, calm down, calm down. I'm a Liverpool fan, so I can't really do like the Liverpool chants, but he's a heel. I don't like him, so I boo him. And then you've got James Drake. He is very, very talented. He's one of the better superstars on the roster. Like, his 450 is incredible, and he is just very, very good. But he gets a lot of arse face chants because he's got his own face on his trunks, so he gets arse face chants almost all night. Smith and Carter do get some offense in on this match, but grizzled young veterans do win in the end. And then after the match, they continue to beat down the team of Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter until Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews come out to make the save. So they run them off, and that ends that segment. Jordan Devlin back out again, but he's not in his gear this time, and he says that he understands that fans think that he's arrogant. But he tells the fans that you're wrong, because arrogance means you think you're better than you actually are. But Jordan Devlin, he knows how good he is, and he runs down the rest of the roster. He says, I'm not just the best wrestler in NXT UK, I'm not just the best wrestler in Europe, I'm the best wrestler in the world. And Dave Mastiff is out again to interrupt him. He takes homage to this, but Jordan Devlin cracks him in the mouth, but Mastiff just takes it, and then just takes out Devlin, and that's a match that's set up for the second night, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Women's tag team action next. Rhea Ripley and Piper Niven team up against Jinny and Jazzy Gabert. A bit of a continuation from earlier on, and this time it's tag team action. Jinny insists on starting this match against Rhea Ripley, but doesn't go too well for her. Ripley and Niven are just having fun at Jinny's expense, picking on her for her size. She's a bit smaller than everyone else in the match. It goes well until Jinny takes advantage of a distraction by Gabert and just whacks Rhea Ripley in the mouth. I might be wrong, but I think Jinny's got metal in her hand, because I think she had like a broken hand or something, and I think she's got like screws or something metal in her hand, so punches by her will, I would imagine, hurt a lot more, and it really knocked Rhea Ripley for 6, I'll tell you that. But the baby faces do manage to get back at the heel team, and they pick up another win, and it is Niven pinning Jazzy Gabert again. I think I might have got that wrong. But Jazzy Gabert looks like one of the worst monster heels ever. I think they might have won a tag match a while ago against, I think it was Isla Dawn and Brookside. I'm not quite sure who it was, I can't remember. But yeah, they haven't been booked particularly strong, which is a bit of a shame, because Gabert is, she looks the part, the alpha female. And yeah, it just hasn't worked out for her. After the match, Rhea Ripley shows respect to Piper Niven and allows her moment in the ring. This might be the last we've seen of Rhea Ripley in NXT UK. She might be going over to Full Sail full-time from now on. Of course, she had a match with Shayna Baszler a few weeks ago. She interrupted her, which was just a really, really cool moment of her saying, "You haven't beaten me, bitch." And I really hope that's not the last we've seen of Ripley in NXT UK, because she is one of my favourites on the whole roster. Not even with the women, like overall, she's just one of the best on the roster. She's one of the coolest, but again, most terrifying people on the roster. Out next, it is Ligero, the Leodensian luchador. I might have got that word wrong, but he's from Leeds and he's a luchador. He's taken on the Kiwi buzzsaw Travis Banks. Very good competitive match here between two baby faces. Lots of pinning combinations. Neither of them hits like a finisher. They keep countering and countering, and there's a few pinning combinations, and they're sitting down back to back with their arms sort of locked together. They flip round, and the referee counts a double pin. It's a draw. So looks like this might be a bit of a competitive rivalry here. We might see this go for another couple of matches, 2 or 3 matches maybe, if they get another win each, and then maybe have like a rubber match, maybe a takeover if there's one very soon. But very competitive match there, which ends in a double pin. Ilya Draganov is out next, and he looks really, really, really cool. He had a match with Cesaro at the takeover, of course, and yeah, he looks like the part. He's a star. He's taking on Saxon Huxley, who got a lot of Tarzan Jesus charts because he looks like Jesus, and he wears like, it's not like tiger stripes, it's not like animal stripes, but it's that sort of colour. Tarzan Jesus, yeah. A good little match here, but it was sort of interrupted by Alexander Wolf of Imperium coming out to seemingly scout Draganov. But are they scouting him as an opponent, or as a recruit. Not a bad back and forth match here, but Draganov does pick up the win, hitting the Torpedo Moscow, that running headbutt, picks up the win, and then out come Imperium, Eichner and Bartel. No Walter on the first night, he does turn up in the second night though, but Eichner and Bartel come out along with Alexander Wolf, and they allow him to pass. They give Ilya Dragunov a free pass. So a bit of interesting development here is that Wolf was scouting Ilya Dragunov, but are they scouting him as an opponent? Or are they looking to recruit Dragunov to Imperium? He is Russian, he is from Europe, so it could be a fifth member of Imperium. But Eichner and Barter are actually out for their next match, and they take on the Hunt, Wild Boar and Primate. Of course, that was set up earlier in the night when they attacked them after their match were pretty deadly. And they do pick up the win here, Imperium. Pretty convincing win. Hunt did get in some offense, but Imperium were mostly dominant. And then it was the main event of the first night, and it was South Wales Subculture, Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews defending the NXT UK Tag Team Championships. And they took on Gallus, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang. Joe Coffey did make his way out onto the ramp about midway through the match to provide support for his teammates. Didn't get involved in the match, but just there for moral support. Another very, very good match. I'm not sure if it was better than 7 Dar. It was still a very good match, but I think Trent 7 Noam Dar was the match of the first night. But a very, very good match. Coffey's watching from the stage, of course. And the match ends, and Mark Andrews is thrown headfirst into the ring post by Wolfgang. Puts him out of the match for a little bit. It leaves Morgan Webster to fight Gallus by himself. Gallus end the match with a double team. It's an enziguri to the back of Webster's head, and then Wolfgang with a big power slam. And then Coffey cuts off Mark Andrews as he's getting into the ring. Mark Coffey pins Flash Morgan Webster, and we have new NXT UK Tag Team Champions in the form of Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, and the NXT Tag Team Champions are Gallus. So it's unfortunate that Andrews and Webster had a fairly short tag title reign, only about 5 or 6 weeks, maybe, something like that. It was 31st of August that they won the titles. So it looks like they've been booked as transitional champions because they went from Cruiserweight veterans to them to other heels in Gallus. So I guess they didn't want Gallus and veterans in a match together. They were just, and I guess as well, it was a good moment in Cardiff as well. I guess they just won it so they could have the feel-good moment in Cardiff. So it's unfortunate they didn't get a longer reign, but Gallus are the new NXT Tag Team Champions, and that rounded up night one. But South Wales Subculture did get the heat back at the end of the match, just to send the crowd home happy, but you won't see that on TV. So that was night one. Night two was the following night. It was Saturday night and just as much action. And some of the stuff that was set up. So Jordan Devlin versus Dave Mastiff was set up on this night. And also Tyler Bate was going to be in action. And Walter was going to show up, as was the NXT Women's Champion, who we didn't see in the first night, Kaylee Ray. Night two opens with a dark match between Rhea Ripley and Nina Samuels. And Ripley pretty dominant in this one. Nina Samuels gets in some offense, but Ripley is the winner. Stayed in the ring for a long time, and I think this was Ripley's goodbye to NXT UK. She was really bigging up the crowd for this one and really took it all in. So I think that might have been her last match with NXT UK before she goes to the USA full time, which is a shame because, like I said, she's one of my favourites on the entire roster. But the show starts with Jack Stars, and he's taking on Saxon Huxley. And Huxley, I thought, was going to get a win here, but no, Jack Stars got the win. It's the first time he's won a match in NXT UK. Jack Stars hits his finisher, which I didn't know what it was. It was like a top rope sort of DDT sort of thing. I'm not quite sure what it was. But Jack Stars beats Saxon Huxley in the first match, and he picks up his first win in NXT UK. Imperium out next. All 4 members of Imperium, that's Fabian Eichner, Alexander Wolf, Marcel Bartel, and the WWE UK champion Walter. And they say they're on top of NXT UK. They're the most dominant group in NXT UK. And Gallus come out and they do not agree with this at all. They're laughing at Imperium for thinking they're the biggest group in NXT UK. And they're mocking Walter, saying the match is sacred and all that. And we get a Jolly Wally chant that Gallus said that they were dominant in NXT UK before Jolly Wally came around. So Walter gets the Jolly Wally chants for a little bit. So it looks like Gallus, just after winning the NXT UK Tag Team Champions, are at the very least the babyfaces going into this feud. I don't know if it's a full face turn just yet, but in this Imperium Gallus feud, it seems like they're being booked as babyfaces, which makes sense because Imperium are fully fledged heels. A-Kid is out next. Of course, we saw him night one in the dark match against Connors, and he was taking on the knockout artist, the so-called wrestling genius Cassius Ohno. And yeah, it's a pretty short match. Kid gets in some offense once again, but it's a bit of a lengthened squash match. Ono is pretty dominant in this one. Ono beats him up more after the match, but he is interrupted by Tyler Bate. So Bate comes out to make the save for A-Kid and gets rid of Ono, and that's the match that's set up later in the night, and that is the main event of night 2, I believe. Up next, it is Joseph Connors versus Rory Johnson. Not a guy that I remember, but I looked him up and he was in the very first UK Championship tournament back in 2017. And I think his name was Big Wavy, I believe his name was his nickname. But he's out to take on Joseph Connors, and yeah, this guy, he's got the look. He looks like he could be a good star in the future. But of course, I guess he's got to earn his stripes first of all. Connors is the winner in this one. He hits Don't Look Down, which is like a sort of a hangman face buster sort of thing. I'm not quite sure what it was. It used to be an EDT when he was back in WCPW, but he injured Drew McIntyre. He injured his neck with it, so it's been changed to be kind of like a face buster sort of thing. But he wins the match, and then he's talking to himself. He's talking to the turnbuckle, and you don't know what he's saying. I can't hear what he's saying. I'm not close enough. So yeah, Connors gets the win there. Out next is the NXT UK Women's Champion Kaylee Ray. Of course, she beat Toni Storm at TakeOver Cardiff, and we haven't seen Toni Storm since. She hasn't shown her face on TV at all. She's completely disappeared, so we don't know where she is. And Kaylee Ray says she's gotten rid of Toni Storm. She's going to get rid of everybody else. And then she takes a shot at Zaya Brookside, because Brookside was the last person eliminated in that Battle Royal back at Download Festival a little while ago. Kaylee Ray eliminated her last as she was outside of the ring and then came back in. Brookside thought she'd had the match won, but Kaylee Ray came out to eliminate her. So Brookside not happy with that. Kaylee Ray sort of runs her down, saying how she hasn't accomplished anything yet. She can never be champion and all that. So that is set up for a little bit later on. So Brookside gets a mini push here, which I quite like. Up next is the Irish Ace Jordan Devlin against the Bomber Dave Mastiff. Of course, this was set up in night 1. Mastiff interrupting Devlin a couple of times. Really, really good match here. Not match of the night, but still a very good match between a very small guy and a very big guy. Devlin keeps trying to hit that catchback suplex throughout the match. He tries it a couple of times, but Mastiff is just too big for him, like 300 plus pounds. And Mastiff looks like he's going to go for like a big rolling senton from the top rope, which would have absolutely ended the match. But Devlin manages to escape, leaves Mastiff up on the top rope, and then pulls him down and hits his catch suplex. Incredible move. Devlin picks up the win. Joe Coffey's out next, the leader of Gallus. No title with him though, so he'd like to get a title along with his Gallus teammates. He's taking on Tyson T-Bone, a guy that hasn't really picked up too much wins in NXT UK. Seems to be there just to sort of push the better talent, I guess. But T-Bone's pretty good. Joe Coffey picks up this when he hits his Aura Best for the Bells, the sort of discus lariat that he uses. Used to be called Black Coffee, but he hits that and he picks up the win over Tyson T-Bone. And it does look like Gallus are being booked as baby faces at the moment. I'm not sure if it's a full face turn. I don't know if it's just why they're taking on Imperium, but at the moment they're booked as baby faces. Women's action next. Killer Kelly is taking on the modern day witch Isla Dawn. And yeah, two individuals here that aren't really doing anything at the moment in the roster. Isla Dawn had a match against Piper Niven a couple of weeks ago, and she looked good in that one. I thought Killer Kelly was going to get her first win here. She has not won a match on TV yet, which is a real shame because I think she's got one of the best looks, one of the best entrances in NXT UK. Just the theme song's really good, the look's good, and I think it's a shame that she hasn't won a match yet because I think there's something there. But yeah, Isla Dawn picks up the win here with a, I think it was a Northern Light suplex, something like that, and she picks up the win. Dawn winning this one. And then Regal comes out. This won't be on TV. Regal just comes out to thank the crowd for their support during NXT UK. Next, it is a match between Southwell Subculture, Andrews and Webster. They take it on Grizzled Young Veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson. A good match again between these two tag teams. You know, they've got a big rivalry going on. Gallus come out to the ring, Coffey and Wolfgang up on the stage, and they're just watching the match. And then out come Imperium, and there's a bit of a standoff. They're just watching, but then suddenly they both decide to try and attack the teams in the ring. There's a huge scramble, and Gallus and Imperium are left in the ring. Walter comes out to make it 4v3, and Ilya Draganov then comes out. And they make space. Imperium makes space for Draganov in their line, so they make a space for him, and it could be a 5th member of Imperium. And Draganov comes into the ring, and he lines up with Imperium, and you've got 5 against 3, but then Draganov walks over to the other side, and it's 4v4, and Draganov has, for the moment, joined forces with Gallus, and we get a huge 4v4 brawl in the middle of the ring. Brazilian veterans and Andrews and Webster out of the ring at the moment, not really part of this, but a huge 4v4 brawl. I really hope this means that in the not too distant future we get Draganov versus Volta, because from what I've seen of Draganov so far, he looks really, really good. He had a match at Progress against Pete Dunne a while ago. He's had matches against Walter, I think, in Germany. That is a match that I want to see. That could be an incredible match. Draganov is so good. I really like Draganov. One complaint I have about this, though, is that I think they could have dragged it out a little bit more. The sort of willy-won't-y with Draganov and joining Imperium. I think they could have maybe dragged it on for a little bit longer, because that's probably only going to last like a week. I think that could have been a bit of an ongoing thing. I think they maybe rushed it a bit. That's just one complaint I have. Really good moment, though. Seeing 4 versus 4 in the ring like that, it looked amazing. Women's action next, it is Kaylee Ray versus Xia Brookside. Non-title match, but the NXT UK Women's Champion is taking on Brookside here. Of course, she ran down Brookside earlier on in the night, saying that, you know what, it was completely fair what she did. She's smart, she's not a cheater. And Brookside looks good in this one, and unfortunately doesn't pick up the win. Kaylee Ray beats Xia Brookside. I thought we might get a little title feud there. We might still, I don't know. But Kaylee Ray beats Xia Brookside. I was hoping for a Toni Storm return, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Ray just stands tall in the ring. In a rematch from night 1, Travis Banks takes on Ligero. Of course, they had a double pin on the first night, and they've got a rematch here. And it is a win for Travis Banks, but there is a little bit of shenanigans involved. It's not a heel turn, but it's just him taking advantage of another situation. Ligero is sort of on the outside recovering, and then he is run into the ring post by Joseph Connors. Connors interfering in the match doesn't cause a disqualification for some reason, because the referee's vision is, I don't know, is the referee distracted? I'm not quite sure. But Connors comes out, attacks Ligero, and then Travis Banks capitalizes, hits the slice of heaven like the springboard kick, like the disaster kick that Cody Rhodes used to do. I think he still does it. But Travis Banks picks up the win. It's not a heel turn, but it's interference from Connors. It's not a heel turn because Connor then beats up Travis Banks and takes them both out. And then Connors is talking to someone we can't see. He's just sort of talking down to the ground. It's like R-Truth talking to little Jimmy. Connors has just completely lost it. And he says, like, he's been here since the very first UK tournament. Well, I think he got to a semi-final or a quarter-final. And he says, like, he was there at the very start, and, like, he's just not been given the opportunities he deserves. He calls himself takeover worthy. And, yeah, that's the whole story of Connors, is that he just feels so underappreciated, and he just completely flipped his lid. It was pretty mad in the first place, but Connors, yeah, he thinks he's takeover worthy, and we could see a takeover match in the future. He's definitely inserted himself into the sort of mid-card feud sort of thing. There's going to be a non-title feud in there somewhere, definitely. The main event of night 2 is next, and the last match of the weekend. Tyler Bate is taking on Cassius Ohno. This was set up earlier on, of course. Ohno defeated A-Kid, and then Bate sort of stops Ohno from beating on A-Kid a bit further. So Bate versus Ohno, the main event. Good match between these two. Lots of boos for Cassius Ohno. Some "you can't wrestle" chants, which are a bit sucky, because Ohno is very, very talented wrestler. Like, he calls himself the wrestling genius. He just is. Like, Ohno is very, very talented. Tyler Bate, just as talented. One of the pound for pound strongest people in WWE. And, like, he goes for the airplane spin at one point, but he can't get the 270 plus pounder up on his shoulders, unfortunately. Ohno with some really stiff elbow shots and kicks, and yeah, he looks on top of the match. Bate is just eating all this up. He's taking it all in, like it was against Walter. It was like a good sort of 20 plus minute match, I think. Bate was he just kept getting up. But Bate manages to pick up the win. He gets Ohno up front. It looks like he's going for the Birmingham Hammer, which is at one of Seven's finishes. But he spins him around in like a torture rack airplane spin and sort of drops him off his shoulders. And then manages to get Ohno up for the Tyler Driver 97, which was a really cool move to see on such a big guy. He manages to pull it off. And Tyler Bate picks up the win in the main event to round out the show, send the crowd home happy. It's a very close one between this and Andrews and Webster versus Grizzled Young Veterans for match of the night. I would probably go Bait Ono, seeing as it had the finish. The tag match went to a double DQ. It went to a no contest because Gallus interfered. So I would probably say match of the night was Bait Ono, but also Devlin Mastiff was a very good match as well. So 3 very good matches on the second night. And that's your lot. Really, really good couple of days of taping for NXT UK. They'll go on the network over the next few weeks. Wrestling-wise, it's been a great week and it's not over yet. You've got Hell in a Cell this Sunday. It's tonight. And there's only 4 matches announced, which is a bit of a bad move by WWE to announce so few matches. Seth Rollins versus The Fiend. I don't know how that's going to go. Fiend doesn't care about universal titles. I'm sure he doesn't care about titles on wins and losses. So I think it might be a case of, I don't know, I wouldn't be against him getting pinned by Rollins because they could just beat the shit out of him after the match. I don't know. But yeah, it's Hell in a Cell tonight. There's only 4 matches announced, unfortunately, but I'm sure there'll be stuff added. But that's the NXT UK tapings for the next few weeks. They're in Hull next, so I won't be going to that. That's a bit too far for me. But next time they're back in the southeast area, sort of London or Kent or Essex, around there, I'll be definitely sure to go and attend because I've been to that. I went to the Albert Hall last year for the UK tournament. I went to Raw and SmackDown at the O2 back in May. You might see some more wrestling stuff on here in the future. I'm not quite sure. There might even be like a weekly thing where I talk about wrestling for the week. I'm not quite sure. It might be a fun thing to do. But this is a Football Manager channel, so I'm not sure what to do with that. I don't want to put it on the second channel. I don't really want to set up a third channel either, so I'm not quite sure what to do. But this has been my review of the NXT UK tapings Friday and Saturday for Brentwood. And yeah, it was a fun couple of days of wrestling, so hopefully they'll be back around here soon. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, do drop a like down below, leave comments, and if you want to see videos as and when it's up on YouTube, do hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to receive updates if I upload or go live, and follow me on social media so you don't miss any of my content. I'll see you in the next video. There will hopefully still be a BFC Dynamo video out later today, if I can get it out in time. I'm not quite sure though. But for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.